Well, another guy who's fast on his feet joining us right now is Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, good to see you. Listen, this is a big deal for you.
Good to see you.
You are our first guest on our first night of The Bottom Line. Thank you for joining us.
Well, congratulations on the new show. It's a big deal. You know, I'll tell you, a number of years back, I had the great joy of being Megyn Kelly's first guest on Fox News, and Megyn went on to a wonderful career, and so it's a big deal. Congratulations on the show. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
So, well, listen, we think so too. So we agree. So, Senator, you're a great lawyer. You practice law. Now you're a senator. What do you make of this Joe Biden story with all of these classified documents going back to his days in the Senate in all these different locations?
You know, it really is remarkable, and it's just a pile of incompetence on top of incompetence on top of sloppiness on top of irresponsibility. To use Biden's word when he was so happy to be throwing rocks at Donald Trump and saying how irresponsible it is, it's a little bit amazing that it seems every day they find more and more and more classified documents. It makes you wonder where it's coming next. And the latest development you were just talking about, that some of these documents are from his Senate tenure, I find really astonishing. You know, I do every week a podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. Today's podcast does a deep dive into this issue, and it walks through. I've been in the Senate 10 years. 100% of the classified documents I have ever read have been in the SCIF, in the basement of the Capitol, as you were just noting a minute ago. You check in your phone, you check in your AirPods, you check in your Fitbit, you go in with no electronics. You read them in the room and you leave the documents there. I don't know how the hell he got them out of there. I mean, it's Sandy Berger during the Clinton administration famously stuck classified documents in his underwear. I don't know if Biden did that or what happened, but it raises serious questions and it calls for a whole lot more investigation.
How so, Senator? What kind of investigation beyond what the special counsel is doing?
Well, look, one of the next steps, we know that the University of Delaware has 1,850 boxes of documents from Biden's Senate tenure, given now the incredibly sloppy and careless keeping of classified documents. I believe the FBI and the Department of Justice should review those 1,850 boxes of documents at the University of Delaware. Delaware has said they're not going to make any of those publicly available until 2 years after Biden leaves office. I think given the potential criminal violation, that needs to be examined right now. Mm-hmm. And there are at least two major implications that come from this. Number one is we need to know what the topics of these documents were. And in particular, if they're, you and I have both read classified documents that are not all that concerning. You read them and you're like, why on earth is this classified? It says something like, you know, China bad, Russia bad. And you're like, oh, okay, I knew that before I came in. There are other documents that implicate sources and methods, that endanger the lives of U.S. covert operatives, that endanger the lives of foreign actors who are working with us. If those are in these categories, it becomes much, much more serious. There's a second category, which is if any of these documents involve Hunter Biden, involve Ukraine and Burisma, involve potential corruption between Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's brother, and either Burisma in Ukraine or the communist Chinese government that paid the Biden family millions of dollars, then this scandal shifts into an entirely different arena of potentially serious criminal violations. You
know, Senator, there'll be a day that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden are gone. I don't know how much damage they're going to do until they leave. My concern, though, is the FBI. They're going to be around for a long time. And the way they've handled this case, the fact that they had to be invited in to Joe Biden's home as opposed to saying, there's a crime scene here. We're going to look in all of his houses. They haven't done that. It seems like there is a tier of justice for Republicans and Donald Trump and another tier that's much lower for Democrats.
Yeah, Sean, you're exactly right. The double standard is glaring. It is obvious. You don't have to be paying close attention to figure it out. You know, I just wrote a book a couple of months ago that's called Justice Corrupted: How the Left has Weaponized Our Legal System. And it goes through how Under Barack Obama, they politicized the Department of Justice and the FBI and the CIA and our legal system. And then it goes through how under Joe Biden, that politicization has gotten much, much worse. I'm sorry to say that book, Justice Corrupted, may have proven prescient, because we're seeing right now Merrick Garland eager to send in a raiding party to Mar-a-Lago. I think Merrick Garland is eager to indict Donald Trump. And yet when he held his press conference announcing a special counsel for Joe Biden, I've never seen Merrick Garland looked as dismayed. I joked that he looked like he was recording a hostage video and he was winking, he was blinking SOS. And the real problem it presents for this administration is a political problem in that their plan to indict Donald Trump has now gotten much, much more complicated because the double standard is just screams off the face of it.
Well, Andy McCarthy, formerly of the Justice Department, Southern District of New York, thinks Justice was planning to indict President Trump under the Espionage Act, but they changed the standard under Comey for Hillary Clinton, and Biden is expecting that pass that Clinton got, so maybe, well, President Trump would have to get the same one. Senator, I want to ask you this, though. The Democrats are doing everything absolutely possible in their power, trying to distract the American people from not only the disaster over classified documents, but their policies that have created such a financial burden on the American people. And they actually are blaming gas prices on the Republicans. Listen to this.
House Republicans will vote to raise gas prices on American families. The president spent the last 2 years, as you know, doing everything he could to lower gas prices for American families, and prices are down about $1.60 a gallon since last summer.
The House Republicans are now pursuing this extreme agenda that risks worsening supply shortages in times of crisis and risks raising prices.
Senator, being from Texas.
Listen, the Biden administration is engaged in shameless gaslighting right there. I say that, but it's getting to the point you can't get the gas to gaslight anymore. Every word they're saying is a lie. They know that every word they're saying is a lie. Joe Biden campaigned on waging an assault on American oil and gas production. On the campaign trail, he promised, if you elect me president, I will shut down new exploration on federal land, both onshore and offshore. And in the just over 2 years he's been president, this administration has waged a war. The first week, he shut down the Keystone Pipeline. That in and of itself shut down 800,000 barrels a day from coming to the United States. He has implemented regulation after regulation, prohibiting new leases on federal lands, shutting down offshore drilling, and the result has been that he shifted production away from American jobs, which, by the way, American production is much better for the environment. He's moved it instead to our enemies. He's moved it instead to Iran, to Russia, to Venezuela, which pollutes the environment more and makes enemies who want to kill us richer. And you know, the talking points right there where Karine Jean-Pierre says, well, gosh, gas prices have gone down. The average price of gasoline in this country was $2.38 a gallon when Joe Biden became president. Under their radical assault on U.S. energy production, those prices doubled to about $5 a gallon. He's right. They dropped about $1 a gallon going into this election because Biden raided the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, sold massive amounts to try to temporarily drive down gas prices. But let me tell you what the folks you just played want to do. They want to see gas prices go back to $4, $5, $6, $10, because they want to make it painful on American consumers to fill up your truck or your minivan. They want to make you sell that SUV and buy a Prius instead. And they're willing to hurt working Americans to do that. You want to lower gas prices? It's real simple. Stop the war on American energy. Produce more at home. It's supply and demand.
Texas up.
We need more supply and prices go down.
And then you get more jobs, Senator. Listen, we have to let you go. I know you have a date you have to get to. I wanted to ask you about the debt limit. Hopefully you guys fight your hearts out to extract and leverage the debt limit to get some spending cuts. $31 trillion in debt Way too much, Senator. Thanks for all your hard work, and thanks for being our first
Amen.
guest on The
Thank you,
Bottom Line,
Senator.
brother. You are the best.